She lay off the coffee. Hands shaking like a leaf.
I'm telling you, doctor, something's just not right. Can't stop shaking. Voice is quivering all the time. Come on in.
Hello. Hello, Mr. Greenfield. Mrs. Greenfield. My name is Michaela. I'm the neurologist here.
Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you. So, after hearing complaints of having difficulty with fine motor movements and experiencing tremors, we took some brain scans, and your brain scans show that you have early signs of Parkinson's disease.
Told you something was wrong.
So, to help you with this, I'm going to refer you to a speech language pathologist. Her name is Julia Alfonso. She's going to take great care of you.
All right. Thank you.
Let me introduce you to one of the clients that we're going to be seeing today. His name is Gus Greenfield. He'll be coming in with his wife, Mabel. He was just recently diagnosed by Dr. Barada, the neurologist at Upstate. He has Parkinson's. He's in the more mild stages right now.
Okay.
And Dr. Barada referred him to us so we can look at more of his respiratory and inflammatory abilities.
Okay.
Neither Mr. or Mrs. Greenfield have had any concerns about Gus's swallowing ability, so we will not be assessing any of that today. But here, let me just show you the plan I wrote up. Of course.
Okay. So I see I'm doing a 2-minute conversation sample.
And then following that, I will also be interviewing both Gus and his wife. And then the oral motor evaluation. And then I will have you administer the cognitive linguistic quick test plus.
Okay, and then we'll finish up with the French eye dysarthria assessment.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Greenfield. Gus and Mabel, do you prefer, is that okay if we can address you as that? Okay.
Goes fine.
All right, great. Well, I'm Julia Alfonso, and this is Hannah Schmitz. But to start off everything, I just have a few questions for you, Gus. What brings you here today?
Well, I've noticed that my hands shake, holding little things like a pen a little harder for me because of shaking. And my voice is a little trembly too on account of the shaking.
Okay, all right. Do you find that other people have any difficulties understanding you?
Yes, more strangers.
Okay. What are maybe your daily or weekly routines?
I'll wake up. I'm retired, so I'll do some odd jobs about the house. Fix myself up something to eat. What else?
Well, we have a cat, and he feeds the cat every morning, and he usually balances the checkbook. It's been a little harder lately. He can't really hold a pen, so, sometimes it doesn't get done.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing all of that information with us.
Okay, now Gus, I am going to ask you some questions and just have a conversation with you. You'll see us taking some notes, but we're just getting some information about your language. So can you let me know about your family?
Well, yeah, we have 3 kids. Seven grandkids. We just celebrated our 50th wedding anniversary, which was a special day. Our kids all flew in for a big party. Got to see grandbabies.
What did you do at the party?
Well, had a cake, some music, plenty of dancing.
Mm-hmm. And what day was that you celebrated?
Come on, Gus. You know this one.
28 was
It's the 27th.
Okay.
27.
Mabel, you can step into the other room with Hannah to have your interview done there. And Gus, we can start off with some tests that I'll share more with you once everything else is settled here.
Okay.
Okay.
And have a seat in either chair. Okay. So could you just let me know what are your primary concerns regarding Gus's future functioning?
Well, I just wish he'd be able to talk to people and have them understand him and, not have such a hard time getting his voice out.
Okay.
It would also be nice for him to be able to hold his pen.
How do you feel it has affected his daily life?
Well, he has this routine and it seems to disrupt the routine.
Okay.
He gets up, he feeds the cat and makes breakfast, but I think because his hands are so shaky, he sometimes doesn't do as well with that.
Okay.
And he's got these plants that he takes care of. And,
Mm-hmm.
well, I think he doesn't water them as much because it's hard for him to not spill.
Okay. And then could you just let me know, do you have any other concerns about Gus?
Well, he seems to forget things sometimes, but
Okay.
we're getting up there. I forget stuff too. That just goes along with the territory.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you for chatting with me. We can head back to the evaluation.
All right, Gus. So now I will be performing the oromotor evaluation. So this is just a test where I'm just going to look at some facial symmetry and also just test your articulators, like your lips, your tongue, your jaw movements, things like that. So thank you. All right. Great, thank you. So now, Gus, I'm just going to take a look inside your mouth. I want to have you open up your mouth as wide as you can and maybe stick out your tongue like this because I need to look at the back of your throat and your soft palate. Great. Now can you say ah, 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 ah. So now can I have you move your tongue from side to side like this? And can I have you move your tongue up and down? So Gus, I would like you to produce some sounds for me. And I'm going to ask you to say pa 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 as fast as you can and at a comfortable volume.
Okay.
Okay, so whenever you're ready. All right, Gus. Now I would like you to produce the s sound for as long as you can. Okay? All right, whenever you're ready.
So, what are they doing here?
Okay, so this is a task called the S to Z ratio. So he holds out the S sound and then next to hold out the Z sound. And it's looking at respiratory and phonatory function. So he needs to be able to take a deep breath and let that sound out. And we're seeing if the S or the Z sound that he lets out, one is longer than the other.
Okay.
So now he's doing the next one. Would you like to head back in now? Let's join them in there. Okay. Hi Gus, how are you doing? Okay. So I'm going to give you a pen and a booklet for this one.
Okay. I want you to draw a clock on this page. So first put all the numbers inside the circle, then set the hands to 10 minutes after 11. Be careful, be neat, start now. Are you all set with this?
Yeah.
All right. I'll just be stepping out of the room for a moment.
Okay.
All right, continue what you need to do.
Okay, see you in a minute.
See you soon.
All right, Gus, let me get this out of your way. For this next task, we're going to be reading some words from these cards, and I'm just going to be writing down what I hear. So here you go.
Long.
Okay, you can go to the next one.
Plate. Give. Call.
Okay, thank you, Gus. That is the end of that test.
Let's just go in order of what we noticed.
Sure. So when we started with that conversational sample, it seemed like his language was intact. If anything, my concerns are a little bit with memory because he couldn't remember the day of the family party. How did you feel about intelligibility for that?
I felt like intelligibility rating, although he had like a softer, I guess, voice quality, I could still understand everything that he was saying. What did you think about the interview with Mabel?
Yeah, so when I talked to Mabel, she kind of made it clear that he's forgetful sometimes. He usually has a routine with feeding the cat, watering the plants and such, and he hasn't been as good with remembering to do those lately. But she sort of restated some of the other things that we've said, but it's really a disruption of his routine lately that she was saying to me.
Okay, right.
Okay, and then how did he do on the oral mechanism exam?
Well, the main thing I noticed was tremor with the tongue when he moved it from side to side or up and down. Otherwise, everything else seemed to be within normal limits. Something that I did notice, the S to Z ratios, there were shorter duration times with those, more so on the production of the Z.
Okay.
And in terms of DDK rates, the AMRs were produced like at a more rapid rate. And can you tell me, what did you notice about the clock drawing?
Yeah, that one was definitely interesting. He forgot to include the 4 as well as the 12 on the clock, and the minute and hour hand were the same length as each other. He also didn't put the clock to set at 11:10, which was part of the instructions.
And did he go in order of the instructions that you told him to?
He was supposed to write the numbers first, but he actually just went ahead and drew the hands first.
Okay.
So I do have some concerns with cognition.
Okay, yes, I agree, and I'll explain about my idea in a second after you tell me about results from the FDA.
Sure. So I felt like I had some similar findings to the OME where there's tremor and there's some difficulty, especially with respiratory and intelligibility subtests for that one.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, based on the findings that we have and why I stepped out of the room earlier, especially after seeing the clock drawing results, I think it would be beneficial for us to administer the Arizona battery for communication disorders of dementia, just to assess more cognitive abilities. So, Gus and Mabel, thanks for coming back. We finished our first round of tests pretty quickly, and we were wondering if you were willing to stick around and we can just administer one more test that we think might be necessary.
I don't think we have anything else today, do we?
No, we're free for the rest of the day.
Okay, all right, thank you. I'll just be asking you Gus to do a few more tasks for me, and we'll just get right into it. So, Gus, I want you to follow some directions for me. Listen carefully. Some of the directions will be long, so listen to the whole direction before you will begin, and I will say each direction only once, so listen carefully. All right. Wave. Look up. Okay. Raise your arm, chew, then stick out your tongue. Shrug your shoulders, pat your knee, then wiggle your fingers.
Fingers. Something about my knee.
Okay, so Gus, for this activity, I'm going to tell you a short story, and when I am done, I want you to tell it back to me.
All right.
Okay, so here's the story. While a lady was shopping, her wallet fell out of her purse, but she did not see it fall. When she got to the checkout counter, she had no way to pay for her groceries. So she put the groceries away and went home. Just as she opened the door to her house, the phone rang and a little girl told her that she had found her wallet. The lady was very relieved. Now you tell me the story.
There was a lady. She was at the store shopping, and her bag fell. So I don't think she noticed. I don't think she knew. I don't remember anything else. That's what I can remember. That was the story.
So Gus and Mabel, thank you again for coming in today. When you were referred here to assess respiratory and phonatory abilities, and based off of the results that we got today, it is consistent with Parkinson's disease, and we can confirm that you have hypokinetic dysarthria. We would like to refer you back to Dr. Barada just so she can do further testing with cognition, which relates to your memory and your executive functioning skills. So that goes back to some of the daily living tasks that you perform every day.
All right. That's what's best.
So in addition, we'd like to refer you for therapy. There is actually a treatment called LSVT, the Lee Silverman voice treatment, and that would help with really getting that volume out, and it's specific for people with Parkinson's. So if you'd like to receive therapy here, we can talk to Eileen at the front desk and put you on the waiting list. Great.
I would like to do that.
Great, so we can plan on that.
Good girl. Good girl.
Hey, Gus. It's really time we brought out those memory games that the speech people gave us.
I have told you. I have Parkinson's disease. I don't have a memory problem. I don't have dementia.
You heard what the doctor said.
You know what? I don't need this. I'm gonna go feed the cat.
You just did.
She's probably hungry again.